Welcome to the Lead It Culture podcast, where every episode is about learning how to grow and thrive in today's culture, rather than letting the culture define who we are. Here are your hosts, Kenny Mason and Edgar Ruiz.
All right, welcome to the Lead It Culture podcast. We are very, very excited to be here. I have Kenny Mason here with me.
Yeah.
I'm Edgar, and this is a podcast where we'll be talking about the importance of leading within our culture today and what that looks like. Because the culture 10, 15 years ago is probably very different from what it is today. And the culture 10 to 15 years from today will be different. So we'll kind of be looking at how to lead within the culture that's constantly changing.
Yeah, for sure.
So to kind of start it off, Kenny, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you grow up, your upbringing, what that looked like?
I grew up in Hampton, Virginia, 757. You know, we out here. Grew up out there. I'm the middle child of three. So I have an older brother and a younger sister. It was just my mother with us, and we grew up with a lot of cousins too. You know, we had fun. We had so much fun with each other when we all linked. So we still, talk about stuff like that to this
awesome. So
to this
big
day.
Family.
Big family,
Okay.
big family. And it was just my mom. You know, growing up, she did what she could. We didn't have much.
Yeah,
that's what I remember from my upbringing. From where we were raised, tough neighborhoods. I never held guns, sold drugs, or whatever. But I hung with people who did. I knew people who did, and just had bad company like that growing up. So I mean, that's just kind of how we grew up. We didn't have much. I got my first job at Hardee's and at Journeys when I was in the 10th grade, and my first paycheck, I bought some orange and green dunks, high top dunks, because I like the Dolphins. That's my team. So I bought some orange and green dunks, and I bought a keyboard because I wanted to teach myself how to play. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play keyboard so bad, learn how to play piano, because I think people who play piano are so cool and awesome. Yeah. So
So let me get this right. Wait, you were what, 15, 16?
I was,
time?
yeah.
And you had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Man, I was looking for jobs when I was 15. I couldn't get a single job. When I tell you, I probably applied to 5, 10 places, and I couldn't land a single. You can hear.
But you know what's crazy? I also swept hair when I was 10.
Oh,
at my dad's barbershop, and I would get $5 a chair.
Okay.
It was 6 chairs. My father would sometimes forget to pay me. So Dad, if you're listening, I love you. But
forget.
But yes, I need to forget. Yeah, I didn't forget. I forgive you. But yeah. So I bought, and that's how it was. I wanted to work to get the things that I wanted to have because we didn't have much, and I appreciate and love my mother for everything that she did. I did the weekend thing with my dad, but I was still comfortable with my mom, and I wanted to be more with her.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I needed my father until I became a father. So I leaned in. I feel like our relationship got so much closer when I became a dad because I realized I needed him, and it didn't matter what he did or if he was the best or wasn't the best. I didn't care. I just knew I needed him because he could at least help me, with the mistakes that maybe he made. So I'm grateful for him and everything that he did for me as well. And that was kind of my background and culture that I had growing up. So So what about you, man?
I grew up in Puerto Rico originally.
Puerto Rico,
born and raised. I
always wanted to go to Puerto Rico.
It's a great place to go to. Visiting. Yeah. That's my opinion. That's my take on it.
Okay. We was going to go vacation there on our 10 year. My wife's not 10 year. But I think we're going to somewhere else. So,
yeah. It's a beautiful place to visit. Beautiful beaches, beautiful life just throughout the island. But living there, it's a little different.
Okay.
And so we lived there. I lived there till I was 12 years old. Once I turned 12, my parents and I moved to Virginia, to the Fairfax area. And my parents still married to this day. They have a awesome. great, strong marriage.
Awesome.
And definitely look to them a lot with my marriage today.
Yeah.
They've set a good example, and I agree with everything. Some things I'm like, okay, I don't know if I would do that way.
Yeah, right.
But definitely paint a great picture for my marriage today. And I grew up an only child. So
only
I
child.
Didn't have any siblings.
Yeah.
But similarly, in Puerto Rico,
and let me just say this for the record: you do not seem like an only child.
Thank you.
You don't give off only child vibes.
That.
I give off middle child vibes. I'm true to that. So yeah, so that's good.
The
FOMO of missing out. I feel like I'm missing out on everything, so I try to include myself in everything. So I'm trying to be better, but I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. Yeah.
I think that's a hard thing, but hey, it is what it is, and it doesn't seem like that either.
Right.
But so where was I at? My parents.
Your parents.
Yeah. So we had a big family.
Yeah.
Big family, lots of cousins, and I was really close with one of my cousins. He's a year older than me. Yeah. So we it definitely felt like he was a brother. And when we moved, that kind of changed everything as far as family dynamic, because we had a lot of big functions with the family. My cousin and I, the one that's a year older, his birthday is actually on the same day as mine. And so for our birthdays, we would just come, the whole family would get together, we'd have a big party. And once we moved out to Virginia, it was just my parents and I.
Yeah.
So it was very, very different. It went from big family dynamic to now it's just us three. I'm an only child.
Right.
And I feel like I can't talk to them about things that I'm going through.
Okay.
And with a big culture shift, like going from Puerto Rico to Virginia, it was something that I definitely would have benefited from talking to somebody.
And what age did you? What age
I was 12 at this time.
You were 12. Okay.
So I was going right into 7th grade.
Right.
And so that made it a little tough because I didn't know some of the changes that were happening. So I definitely let the culture of my middle school and my neighborhood kind of change who I was coming in.
That's good. Yeah.
And
that's not good, but that's good you're saying it.
Yeah. My mom will tell you to this day, she was like, yeah, you were great in Puerto Rico. I don't know what happened when we moved. As soon as you moved, especially when you got to high school, I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's so funny.
You were such a good kid.
Yeah, dang. Yeah.
Love my mom. No, definitely once I got into middle school, everything kind of changed.
Right,
and progressing on, my parents, we struggled early on, but once we got into high school, it was financially we didn't struggle nearly as much. And we were pretty set. Things were good. We were pretty stable financially. Yeah. And which was very different from the culture, at least back then. And I think today is still pretty prevalent that on average, Hispanic culture isn't middle class. And I got a lot of that growing up. Most of my neighborhood was predominantly white. Yeah, okay. And it's funny because then my wife now is white, but she grew up more in poverty, in a more difficult lifestyle. Right. But it was very big change coming in when I was 12 years old, which I think is a very difficult age for a change that big. Right.
I think it's crazy because you said something that was really good when we were talking about like how we can let culture overtake us. So, it's kind of like when you don't have intentional parenting, culture can take you over and say, no, I'm gonna father you. I'm your mother. I'm your father. I'm gonna teach you. Right. But you gotta have like a super strong support system and parents, and not just fun, but great instructions and great mentoring, great intentional, conversations to say, let me teach. I know culture is teaching you this. Let me teach you this. And that was a lot for me growing up as well. I mean, I learned a lot from rap songs. I learned a lot from YouTube. I learned a lot, before YouTube. Before YouTube was even a thing. I learned a lot from my friends. I learned a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been, doing or saying or speaking or, all of the thinking, all of that stuff. But, that's just what happens, right? When culture really takes you over, when you're more into culture than like not appreciating the people around you that are trying to pour into you to help you.
Exactly. They don't fit in the culture that you're seeing around you. So you're like, I want to look more towards the culture. Right. Yeah. And so to say, if there's any parents watching this or any students that have parents that are involved, I want to say constantly ask questions as parents. Make sure you know that where your kids are at, especially if you know that they're deeper into the culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Begin to just ask questions. Make sure to check in on them.
Yeah, ask those questions and also be the first.
Yeah.
Be the first person. Make it your obligation. Like, us as parents, and I know we're not getting into this, knee deep, but I would just say that us as parents, we have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4. They'll be 9, 7, and 5 this year. And we are really being intentional with, they're public school, but public school or homeschool, it really doesn't matter. We have to make sure that, Naima and I, we have to make sure that we're being the first to talk about anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that they will hear. So that when they hear from somebody else, it's like, hey, I remember mommy and daddy talked about that. So that's the kind of the vibe that, we are trying to create in our own home so that, we could win in parenting. And we're going to lose sometimes, but so that we can have more wins than losses.
Exactly. So, If they don't learn at home, they're going to learn it somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, they're going to learn it somewhere. So yeah. And I think that it kind of plays into the role that we are in now because, you work with youth, I work with young adults, and, kind of that middle school, high school age, and I work with kind of that college age. Yeah. And, I want to help, right? You want to be one of those voices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of those people that they remember. Because I heard somebody say that, kids are going to grow remembering 5 people in their life. Are you going to be one of those 5 people? So I'm like, man, I'm trying to be on one of those fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
trying to be top 3.
I know, right? Don't give me the thumb. Don't give me the thumb. No, I work too hard to be the thumb. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to grind to do that. And,
for sure.
And make sure that, Jesus is, like in there, So like, I think that's my biggest thing is just trying to be one of those voices, a great mentor, just there for whoever,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to be talking about a topic like these with parents and how to have parents be involved, but also have students check in with their parents and how to have students involve their parents too, not to look towards the culture, but look towards their family.
Right.
We'll be talking about topics like balancing your goals, having goals in your life, balancing if you have jobs, if you have 2 jobs like Kenny here, how to balance those schedules along with schoolwork and sports. Any other things that you have going on. Yeah. So. Yeah, a lot of really good topics.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we thank everybody for watching and tuning in, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
See y'all.